What's going on, guys? Mid to high key coming back at you with a different kind of video today. As you see on your screen, we have a bracket, a little March Madness. The best time of the year, some might say. So yeah, pretty much we have these two tabs open. I'm gonna fill out one, and Jalen's gonna fill out one. We're gonna go back and forth a little bit.
The background interesting part about this whole session is that I know nothing about college basketball. Well, at least none to actually provide a legitimate and concise and coherent and good opinion on March Madness and college basketball. Don knows more than me. He's an expert level, as you would say. I'd say if you had to put it in terms of like fighting, he's like right under a game master in chess.
You said put it in terms of fighting, and then you gave a chess reference.
So because I saw a chess stream earlier, and it's a battle. It's a battle. But anyway, so yeah, like you said, we got two brackets. I would go to the first one, and we're gonna do it by region. So the first region, South, which is run by Virginia. So Don, you can go ahead and do first, actually.
You want me to go first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, on this one, I'm gonna pick Virginia, of course. The one versus the 16.
What does UMBC even stand for? University of Massachusetts Boston College.
University of Maryland in Baltimore County.
Really?
Yeah.
Who puts county in their school name?
I know. Here, the 8-9 matchup. This is an interesting one, I guess. Both teams have proven they can win in the tournament. Both teams have had decent seasons. But I think Kansas State is going to take this one. Could be wrong. Creighton is a dangerous team, though, so be on the lookout for them. Kentucky-Davidson, Battle of the Wildcats. You got Steph Curry versus half the NBA.
Good one, Don. Good one.
Thank you. So here I'm going to say Kentucky, although they have looked a little...
Sus?
Yeah, suspect at times. They're coming off a big SEC championship win. And Davidson, they weren't expected to win their conference, so I don't know how well they'll do. I mean, maybe they'll ride that momentum into this tournament and pull off an upset. But for now, I'm going with Kentucky. Arizona, Buffalo. I gotta go with Arizona. I don't know too much about Buffalo.
Sleeper.
Potentially. Arizona, they had a rocky middle of the season. They kind of regained a little bit now, it seems. They have obviously the scandals going on with the FBI and the Sean Miller being wiretapped and all that, but they're moving past that, and they are ready to make a run into the dance. Anyway, so we have Miami versus Loyola Chicago. This is upset potential here, I'd say, but I think I'm gonna go with Miami. I see Miami here. Tennessee, I think that they'll get that one out of the way.
You don't believe in Wright State?
I don't. And then Nevada, Texas. This is interesting because Texas, obviously, they have Mo Bamba if he's back. Nevada, very good team coming out of the Mountain West. I'm gonna go with the upset though with Texas. Just I feel like they might have the experience it takes to win. And their coach Shaka Smart has the obviously a proven resume in March. Here, Georgia State, Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a very good team, very aggressive, very defensive. I'm going with Cincinnati. So moving on to the second round, we're doing it round by round.
Yeah, same to Elite Four. Elite Four.
So moving on to the second round, Virginia, Kansas State. I gotta go with Virginia here. I think they'll just outmatch Kansas State on the defensive end.
You don't believe?
Whatever. Kentucky, Arizona. This is an interesting one. This is definitely gonna be a good game. Obviously, you got stars all over the place. But I think Arizona will pull this one out. And between Miami and Tennessee, Um, it's tough. Both are really good teams. Both have had pretty good seasons. I think I'm gonna go with Miami for this one though. A little upset. And then Texas Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati will be too much for Texas in this one. Um, could be wrong, but Cincinnati looks to be a pretty strong team. So moving on, I think Virginia takes this one fairly easily. I think Arizona can contest them, but Virginia is a great team, and I think they will advance here. Then Miami, Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati will take this one, so really no upsets here in this bracket. But yeah, I have UVA and Cincinnati going head to head. And in terms of making it to the Final Four, I think Virginia will make it. They'll finally get rid of their NCAA tournament troubles, and they will advance to the Final Four out of the South region. So move over to your bracket. Let you do your picks.
All right, so the real expert going on this bish. Of course, UVA and University of Massachusetts at Boston County. This is definitely going to be Virginia here. UVA, I just hear more about them than the other one. Creighton and K-State. I know that K-State has a nickname K-State. I don't know anything about Creighton, so K-State. Kentucky and Davidson. Steph Curry with a shot boy, but it will be Drake from 3. Arizona and Buffalo, Zona. Miami, Loyola, Miami, because, the U. Shout out. Tennessee and Wright State, 10-10. Again, and then Nevada and Texas, burnt orange, not Tennessee orange. I'm trying to get the two oranges together so they have an awkward situation. Cincinnati and Georgia State, obviously, the Wild Bears. And then up here we have UVA, of course, Kentucky, Zona, because they just had they're high off that last chip win. Hopefully they don't get oversuccumb with happiness and want to go far in this tournament. Miami and Tennessee. Tennessee, just because Miami doesn't know how to win in anything they do. Tennessee and Cincinnati. Tennessee and Cincinnati. Texas and T. So we got the two T's here. This is what I wanted here. There's going to be a lot of orange rivalry there, a lot of commercials, a lot of Sprite commercials. UVA, Arizona. This is going to be a really great matchup just because they're both going to be overhyped, just going to start out really slow, whatever. But I'm picking Arizona over UVA because UVA does not know how to win, as far as I've been told. Tennessee and Texas. I'm going to go Tennessee because Texas and everything they do well for a little bit and then they suck. And then we're going to go with Zona for the Elite Four.
All right, so that's the South region for both of us, obviously. I guess moving past that, we'll go ahead and we'll just do the East, I suppose. So obviously we accidentally clicked Villanova. Not we, Jalen accidentally clicked Villanova earlier. I guess I'll stick with that pick. Virginia Tech, Alabama. I think this is an interesting one. Virginia Tech did have a decent season throughout the ACC. Alabama is riding off of a pretty decent SEC tournament run that ultimately got them into the tournament with a few impressive victories, a buzzer beater. So I think that Alabama will take this one. West Virginia, Murray State. I like to call West Virginia the adult league YMCA basketball team.
A big bald guy.
Because they only recruit grown 50-year-old men that are at their peak physical level.
That wash dishes.
But as we all know, the 12 and 5 is always an interesting matchup. There's always at least a 12 that seems to win. And West Virginia does seem to get upset quite often in the tournament. So I think I'm going to go Murray State here. Although that's probably going to be wrong, but you got to go. You got to mix it up sometimes. You got to pick the upsets.
Sure.
Wichita State, Marshall. I'm going Wichita State here. Florida versus either Bonaventure or
Los Angeles.
Or I don't know the other team, so I'm just going to go with Florida. Texas Tech and Stephen F. Austin. The Battle of the Texas.
That's not San Francisco and Austin.
No. Okay. Well, we're gonna go with Texas Tech here. The Red Raiders, I believe they're called.
Yes.
Arkansas versus Butler. This is an interesting one. Butler is always a test in the tournament, but Arkansas has also had a great season, defeating Oklahoma and Trae Young earlier in the season. We'll get to them.
Trae Young is trash.
Arkansas, I believe, is going to take that one. And then Purdue versus Cal State University Fullerton. I'm going Purdue here. Okay, moving on. Villanova versus Alabama. I don't see Alabama testing Villanova very much. I see Villanova cruising to the Sweet 16.
Would you say they're the weakest one seed in the tourney?
Villanova, the weakest one seed?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Who was weakest one seed?
Xavier.
Oh, I forget.
Yes. Villanova's probably the second best one seed. Yeah. Murray State versus Wichita State. I think Murray State's run is going to end here, and Wichita State will cruise on into the Sweet 16. Florida versus Texas Tech. This is an interesting matchup. Florida has, they haven't looked great at times this season. Texas Tech has been pretty good throughout a very tough Big 12 conference. So I'm going Texas Tech here. Arkansas versus Purdue. I'm going an upset, and I'm going to go with Arkansas just to mix things up a little bit. Villanova, Wichita State. Villanova should cruise. Texas Tech and Arkansas. I'm going Texas Tech, and then ultimately I will be picking Villanova. So 2-1 seeds in the Final Four. Interesting. So we'll move on over. And let you do your little thing.
Sure. Let me. All right, so over here, Nova and I love is Universal, and Ryan 8 Dave. I think Nova is going to win that one, and then we got Virginia Tech, and Bama. Virginia Tech. Because I want the V's together here. West Virginia at Murray State. West Virginia because that old guy he just hustles, man. He likes to shoot sometimes. We have Wichita State and Marshall. Wichita. Florida and Bon Lavar is Florida. Texas Tech, San Francisco, and Austin is going to be TT. Like titties. Arkansas and Butler will be. I think these are the Buffalo Bills symbol. I think. And Purdue and Cal State University in Fullerton.
Yeah.
That'll be Purdue.
Okay.
Villanova win this one. West Virginia will go on. Florida will beat Texas Tech, and Purdue will beat Florida. Villanova will beat West Virginia, and this one will be Purdue. 1 and 2 seed for the win.
Are you gonna pick a winner?
It'll be Purdue. Just kidding.
Okay, so Villanova there. If you missed that one. So moving on to the West region. So we have Xavier, North Carolina Central, and TeamSpeak. Xavier is gonna win that one. Missouri, Florida State. Michael Porter Jr. coming back.
He's playing in the tourney.
He will be playing in the tourney.
Trash ass nuke.
Can he pull off something? I believe that they will advance here.
He's gonna score like 5 points.
OSU, South Dakota State. OSU has, they've improved as the season's gone on. I'm going with the OSU here. Gonzaga and UNCG. So UNCG it's quite close to all of our hearts. Jalen's an alumni. I spent most of my high school years there.
Fucking bitches.
I think I'm gonna just pull off, and they're gonna pull off the upset.
No, they're not.
they're gonna pull it off.
Gonzaga's gonna drag them.
And then, but we're gonna be loyal to our brand here. Anyway, Houston, San Diego State. I think the Houston Cougars will take that one. Michigan versus Montana.
Like French Montana.
That's gonna be Michigan.
Why is that his name?
Okay, I don't know.
Did it have a French quarters there? Like New Orleans? It should be French New Orleans.
Anyway, Texas A&M versus Providence. I'm going Texas A&M. So no upsets other than UNCG, which I don't believe will actually be an upset. UNC versus Lipscomb. I'm going Lipscomb. I'm just kidding. I'm going UNC. Xavier, Missouri. See, this is an interesting one. If Michael Porter can get back up to form, this is definitely a sleeper pick.
What is even his form, though? He only played like 6 minutes in the first game.
Okay. Anyway.
Like, we don't even know how he plays.
He's projected to be a lottery pick, so if he can get up to a lottery pick form, this could be an intriguing matchup. But that's an off chance, so I think Xavier, because you know how one and done's try in the tournament. They don't. OSU versus UNCG. I believe this is where the Spartans ends, and the OSU Buckeyes will advance. Here, this is an interesting one. Houston and Michigan. Houston has, they're a bit of a sleeper pick here. Michigan has had a dominant run into the Big Ten tournament. I'd say, I think Houston is going to pull off an upset there.
James Harden. Jeff.
Texas A&M versus UNC. North Carolina is going to win this with ease.
You're not going to tell me you're a fan?
I'm not a fan. It's Xavier versus OSU. Now this is interesting again. I'm going to Xavier.
How's Ohio State's basketball team even?
They're decent this year. I mean, North Carolina beat them.
Fan.
North Carolina is going to take out Houston there, and then reaching the final four is going to beat North Carolina by a score of 82-70.
82 points?
3.
How many Joe Perry's going to have? 25 points? No.
He's going to have 15.
Luke May's going to have 21 points.
And Theo Pinson is going to have
12 and 10 rebounds.
No, he's going to have 12 rebounds.
6 assists.
No. He's going to have 11 assists.
Pause.
He averages more than...
No, he's going to have 6.
No.
I have hindsight, man. Foresight.
You don't know anything.
Passion.
Alright, moving on to Jalen's West region here.
So from the true expert in college basketball, Xavier in North Carolina Central. Black shoot out. Let's go. TS. Don't know who that is. Xavier's going to win. Missouri and Florida State. Mizzou. Just kidding. Mizzou will win that one. Ohio State will win this one. Zaga will drag. Just kidding. UNCG all the way. Houston and San Diego. San Diego State's going to win that game. Upset. Michigan. This will be another upset of Montana. Just because they're not going to be ready for whatever Montana has, whatever it is. Texas and Providence is going to be A&M. UNC will be Lip. Then we have Xavier, one and done. They always try until the Elite Eight and then they stop. UNCG will be Ohio State because that's my home country. Honestly, fuck UNCG, but whatever. San Diego State and Montana SDS. UNC will beat San Diego State. Uncle Joe, no. Michael Porter Jr. Just kidding. I'm sure will win that one. And then UNC. And then we got a UNC match, boy! The house will be lit. And the winner of this one would be UNC. Obviously. And, yeah, that's me.
Okay. So we got one more region. And that is the Midwest region. Another intriguing one here. So, Kansas versus Penn. I'm going Penn, Kansas. Seton Hall versus NC State.
NC State.
I'm going with the first-year coach in NC State.
Shout out.
Clemson and New Mexico State. I believe New Mexico State is going to pull off the upset here. Although Clemson did test Virginia, I don't think they'll be ready for the New Mexico State
alumni
cowboy shooting pistol team.
They're going to bring the pistols to the game.
The Auburn versus the College of Charleston.
Shout out to Kimber.
I'm going to go with Auburn here.
That's fair.
TSU versus...
Suck you.
You know what? I'm going the upset. It's either going to be Arizona State or Syracuse in this next round.
TCU has that albino guy.
They do.
He's okay.
Michigan State versus Bucknell. Although Bucknell is a good team, I believe Michigan State and Miles Bridges will be too much. URI, the University of Rhode Island versus Oklahoma. I think Trae Young will show up for one last game.
At least one game.
He will show up for one more game. Duke versus Iona. I'm going the Duke. What are those? The Red Devils? The Red Devils or the Green Devils?
It's funny you say anything because they're gonna lose this game to Iona. Money on it. Like how they lost to that other team. What was it, Lehigh?
Lehigh, Mercer, and South Carolina. Kansas versus NC State. I'm going an upset. NC State.
NC State knows how to win, bro.
NC State is having a great year. They've beaten North Carolina and Duke. I think that they will pull off the upset against Kansas.
Wisconsin is in the game. Is in this thing.
No.
Damn.
Auburn versus New Mexico State. I'm going Auburn.
Cam Newton.
Michigan State versus...
I suck you.
I believe it's going to be Syracuse. I'm going to go Michigan State here. Now, Oklahoma versus Duke. Can Trae Young compete against his fellow lottery draft pick in Malcolm Brogdon.
Malcolm Brogdon.
I'm just kidding.
Malcolm in the middle. Malcolm
Whatever,
Brogdon's good though. Shout out to my boy in Milwaukee.
whatever his name is.
Rookie of the year.
Marvin Bagley the third or the second.
I don't think Trae Young will even have 10 points in the game.
All right. Well, I'm going Duke. NC State versus Auburn. You see, I think that both of these teams are not very good. They're just good enough to get here, and in a fairly weak bracket. Auburn got a little lucky with this, draw here. I'm going NC State though, making it to the Final Four. A little bit of the whatever their run was, the 5 Slamma Jamma when they beat that team, Houston, and then their coach got cancer and died.
Oh.
Rest in peace. Anyway,
rest in peace.
Michigan State versus Duke. I'm going Michigan State. Duke does not know how to win at this point, and the one and dones of Duke would have already given up here. And then NC State versus Michigan State. I said NC State, but I'm going Michigan State in the Final Four. So, go ahead.
On to you, Final Four.
No, you can do it, and then we'll just
okay, sorry.
make it a scene.
All right, family. Pennsylvania and Kansas. This will be Kansas. That's Pennsylvania for real?
Yeah.
NC State will beat Seton Hall. Clemson and New Mexico State will be no. It'll be New Mexico State. Auburn, Charleston, TCU will lose, I think, as well. Syracuse will beat TCU for sure. Michigan State and Bucknell. Michigan State. Oklahoma and Trae Young. Duke will beat, just kidding, Iona will upset Duke first round.
Hope so.
Kansas and NC State. This will be Kansas. NC State could try. New Mexico State will beat Charleston because Charleston's like, oh shit, we're here, and then they lose. And then this one will be Syracuse. And then we're gonna go to Iona. Just kidding. Oklahoma. Well, Trae Young will come in, and they're gonna think they're good. Then they play Syracuse. Syracuse will win. What is ASU? Appalachian State.
Arizona State.
This will be Kansas, and Kansas will win this game.
Okay, so we're at the Final Four now. So we have UVA versus UNC, and then we have Villanova versus Michigan State. So I'm going to go ahead and say UVA is not going to beat UNC for a third time. UNC will be back in their third straight national championship game. Villanova versus Michigan State. Redemption is on our mind again. We will be taking on North Carolina will be taking on Villanova, and they will redeem themselves once again. I believe North Carolina will win this, and it'll be 72 to 69.
Woo! Yeah, they win. They're the best again in San Antonio, which we're going to be there. If you guys want to meet us in San Antonio, meet and greets, we're going to be doing a meet and greet with our fans in front of the stadium. We're going to be in the line, so you have to cover the line.
Yeah, we'll be waiting to get in. But yeah, we'll be there though, either way, regardless.
My Final Four pick, Arizona and UNC. UNC will go there. Kansas and Villanova, it will be Kansas. And then Kansas will win. Just kidding, UNC will win. And now it's not because he's a fan. I look at this and I think UNC is going to win probably. And only because I've been watching them a lot because he's puts it on the TV. The final score, they're not scoring 70 points. They're going to score like 63 points, and the other team's going to have like 58 points.
It's pretty low.
Yeah, but redemption's not on my mind. Submit picks. And UNC will win. Yay!
Alright, so I'm not sure how we're going to do this video. Maybe we'll give you so he's going to be Dontavius 2, I'll be Dontavius 1. It looks. I think we can edit those names later. So I guess we'll maybe do an update video later to show you who's winning and everything like that. But yeah, so I think that's going to do it for us. You have any closing remarks?
Hopefully, some teams get some look. This is a good chance for small teams to get some good quality ESPN and TBS and was it all TNT?
TNT, TBS,
True
TV, and CBS are all the...
It'll be some good looks for them, some good travel experience. They got to pack breakfast and lunch and stuff. But anyway, this has been your boys, Dontavius and Don, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Goodbye.
Put the team on my back. I do it all for the family. Everyone think they can rap. Nobody ever gon' challenge me. Starting my week on a a Sunday. They think they can